What's going on, Nerd Nation? This is Sleevecard signing in and welcoming you to week number 9, our final week of the PBL Professional Battlers League right here on YouTube. Unfortunately, this week, you guys, I am doing a post-com as opposed to a live recording. So I promised live recording throughout the season. I made it 8 weeks, but in the final week, the scheduling just didn't work out. So you are getting a post-com, unfortunately. But I do think we have a decent battle here for you today. And with that being said, our opponent for this week is none other than PokePrez. PokePrez is already locked into the playoffs, actually, going into this battle here. So he's 4-4 going into this battle. We are, unfortunately, 2-6 and out of the playoffs. But at least you can kind of see, you know, if we can end the season on a high note. So we're looking to put that exclamation point on our season, end it on a high note, and kind of go from there. Now, as you can see, the team is pretty much what we ran last week. And by pretty much, I mean exactly what we ran last week. As I get this battle kick off. So it's exactly what we ran. It's exactly what we ran last week. Again, because the scheduling didn't work out, I didn't really have time to tinker with the team too much. So we're going to lead off with Raikou. The reason I kind of went for the Raikou is I figured he would start with Cresselia, which he did. So this is nice for us. I figured he'd either go Cresselia or he would start with his Rabombi for like sticky webs. So I was kind of taking a bet that we could handle either one. But I go for the Raikou. We set up Shadow Ball, which is nice because, as you can see, it does over half. Obviously, this thing's going to have leftovers because 99% of Cresselias have a leftover as the held item. So going for the Calm Mind, going for the leftovers. I don't want to deal with this thing too much because once Cresselia sets up on you, it is a difficult out to get. So we go for the Shadow Ball again. I didn't expect the KO, obviously, because of the Calm Mind, but I wanted to get enough damage to really threaten it on our next turn here. So it does suck that the Psyshock right there, you see, took us out. I don't know if the crit really mattered on that one because, again, the Calm Mind being a plus and it was also a stab move. But we go into Entei. Now, I figure with Entei, I can pressure this thing a lot because, 1, we have Sacred Fire, 2, it's Choice Scarf, so I know I'm going to hit first. So I kind of figured we'll hit the Sacred Fire. If he had swapped out, which he didn't, if he had swapped out, we would have definitely done some decent damage to pretty much everything on his team except for Tentacruel, I feel like. But obviously, we get the KO. We'll go for another one. If he hadn't been focused here, Focus Ashed here, we definitely would have gotten another KO. So we're kind of operating in a decent position right now. But the Focus Ash, he holds on. He sets up the sticky webs, which can be a pain in the butt, I'll be honest with you, because our team, it's got decent speed tiers, but it's not like elite level speed tiers, so the sticky webs can definitely impact us quite a bit, but we do get rid of Rabombi. Volcanion's in, so I swap out my Entei here, and I'm going to go into Pidgeot, mostly because, 1, Entei's not going to take a Steam Eruption at all, plus, he's not going to be able to dish any damage really on this thing. So I go into Pidgeot, figuring at least we'll bypass the sticky webs. So we take the hit. Luckily, we survive. It did a lot more damage than I thought it would. But again, I mean, not again, but really, like, Pidgeot doesn't have anything for defenses, so it's not that surprising, I guess. But at least we come out, we get the free Hurricane, and then we do get a little bit of luck on our side. So we land the Confusion. He does get hit with hacks right here, so he does take the Confusion damage, which sets up quite nicely for us, because right now, as you can see, he's swapping out, so very much he had to either swap out or lose Volcanion, because the Hurricane was going to take it out. So he swaps the Snorlax, which, unfortunately, is bulky as all get out, so it does eat up this, like, completely eat up this Hurricane. Now, I go for the U-turn. Even though we got the Confusion, I'm not going to run the risk that we're going to get double hacks and back-to-back turns. Like, we're just not that lucky. So I do go and swap out. I go into our Malamar. Now, the one nice thing is, throughout the season, every time I use Malamar, I'm sure you guys have heard me kind of complain that Malamar does not have the best speed tier. So getting this boost, the contrary boost off the sticky webs helps out. because it definitely helps set us up a little bit better. Malamar, I think his like base, I've looked it up before, but I think it's like base 65, base 60, something like that. It's like a low to mid 60s base speed tier. So it's not going to outspeed really anything, but now with the sticky webs, it has a chance. So we do outspeed Tentacruel, we get the superpower, which I would have rather had on Snorlax, but I'll take what I can get. So at least now we're at plus speed, plus attack, plus defense. And using all that, we get the Psycho Cut, takes out Tentacruel. So at this point, I feel fairly confident. Not like cocky confident, like I'm not guaranteeing a win or anything, but I'm feeling confident enough that we're at least kind of getting some damage on the party here. This sucks, I'll be honest with you. That right there, the first impression sucks. Malamar has okay bulk. Like, he has decent physical bulk. The problem, of course, is that first impression is a 4 times effective move. So I go to Mega Pidgeot. I was kind of hoping to get a Hurricane off. Thing would outspeed. I wasn't thinking about priority, so the Sucker Punch kind of hurt. So I go to Mimikyu. Now, Mimikyu, I just kind of figured at least I'll have the Disguise if I need to, and we have priority on this thing as well with Shadow Sneak. So I kind of use my free turn just to set up here. So we're going to set up with the Swords Dance, and the reason for that is I kind of thought he would Sucker Punch. I thought he might go for a Sucker Punch to get rid of the decoy, but he doesn't. So either way, we get our +2. Now I go in for Play Rough. I was a little worried that he might Sucker Punch here as well, but I was also kind of like, screw it, I'm at +2 already. Let's just go for it. So we go for the +2 Twinkle Tackle, which, I mean, we'll see in a second. I think it does a decent amount. It doesn't KO, but it does get him up there. Oh no, it does KO. I was thinking it did like 80-90%. But it does KO, which is amazing for us. So now it's pretty much Volcanion and Snorlax is what he has left. Volcanion, I just go for the Shadow Sneak. With him being so damaged already, it's not that big of a deal. So I go for the Shadow Sneak. I wish I had taken it out. It didn't take it out, but it gets close. And it gets close enough that obviously a second Shadow Sneak here would clinch it. I do kind of take a risk because obviously if he had swapped into Snorlax, Shadow Sneak wouldn't have done anything. But, you know, it's one of those. I took the risk and just kind of went for the Shadow Sneak. Snorlax is asleep still, so I go for another Swords Dance. I figure +4 at this point. Like, +4, we still have Play Rough, so we can do some damage, and we're obviously going to outspeed and not have to worry about this thing too much. But he goes for the Sleep Talk. Now, this works out in our favor, because when he went for Sleep Talk, I was like, oh crap, he's got I know he has Rest. I know that he has, obviously he has Body Slam, and I was like, I figured Rest, Sleep Talk, Body Slam, and maybe he's carrying like Iron Head, Earthquake, something like that. But luckily we draw the Body Slam, which has no effect, and we're able to close out the win. So, even though we missed the playoffs, that does at least end us on a high note at 3-6 on the season. So we go up to 3-6. PokePrez drops to 4-5, which again isn't too much of an impact because he is in the playoffs, so he doesn't have to sweat it too much either way. But there you have it, guys. Week 9 on our season. Again, I'm sorry it's not live. It's not live action, and I am a little bit nasally right now. I'm kind of getting a little bit of a cold, but here we have it. Ending the season on a high note. Wins were a little further apart than I wish they were, and not as many as I wish they were. But what can you do? But you know, just keep playing the game. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it worked out. We walk away with the victory, thanks to I would say some setup moves and some decent luck, honestly. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. If you like what you saw today, if you are excited that we actually left the season on a high note, hit that thumbs up button for me down below, because as you know, your support is always greatly appreciated. And of course, leave a comment, let me know what you thought, and the links to PokePrez's channel will, as always, be down in the description. So feel free to check him out, show him some support, show him some love. But once again, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. This is Sleevecard signing out. have yourselves a beautiful day, and I'll see you later.